You're listening to the J-Ball Oldies Show, and as you know, over the last few weeks I've been promoting the movie God's Country and have had some interviews with some of the different cast of the movie, and I'm pleased to announce I have another one at this time. Please welcome Gib Gerard, who plays Jake, one of the featured characters in the movie. Welcome, Gib, and how's it going?
It's going very well. Thank you so much for having me, John.
Well, I'm just so impressed with this movie. It's just impacted me, and my wife and I watched it I watched it the first time. I bought it the day I bought it. She was working. I couldn't wait to see it, so I watched it, and then we watched it again together and just enjoyed it immensely. It's such a great family movie, faith movie. How did the role of Jake in God's Country come about for you?
It came about the way that most roles come to actors. I hustled a little bit, and there's this thing called the breakdowns where you see all the roles that are going on in your city, and you submit your picture and your reel, and you hope that they will meet you. And I did one audition, and casting director liked what I did, and so she said, "Hey, in a couple of hours, we're going to have the director and the producers. Can you come back?" Which is it's called the callback. I don't know how much you know about it, but so I got a call back that afternoon, and then you don't hear anything for a couple of weeks, and you think, I guess that didn't happen. And then I got a phone call a few weeks later from the casting director, I believe, and just saying, "Hey, we like you for the role of Jake." And after that, that was it. I was in.
Cool.
I didn't really hesitate or anything. I don't work enough to say no.
Well, I guess in your business, you got to say yes when you can, when the opportunity avails itself.
Exactly.
What's some of your experience from working on the movie? Any really? I know you had some fun scenes, but also some serious scenes in it as well.
Yeah, Jake was a really fun character to play, and he goes through a lot. Sort of, obviously the main catharsis in the movie is Megan, so played by Jen. She kind of goes from this stiff businesswoman to I guess we country her up a little bit by the end of the movie. But my character, I go through this moment where my eyes are open to what's really going on in the financial realities of our situation, and that was a fun moment to play with because I'm such an aw shucks guy for the first probably 20-30 minutes I'm in the movie, and then there's this moment and I sort of have to deal with some reality. So I liked that. That was fun to work on. I mean, overall, we were on location up in the Mojave Desert to shoot the whole movie, and my character pretty much exists only up in the desert scene. So, a few weeks up there, living as a cast in a motel, cast and crew, and you get close to everybody. And it was a really, really overall fun experience. So, despite the fact that what you see my character go through being hard at times and easy at others, the overall experience of working on that movie was just like summer camp, just like the kids are going through in the movie.
Yeah. And you got to ride in a Ferrari too. I kidded Jen about you got to drive. She got to drive one.
She did, and she had to practice. She had to practice at the studio lot. So we did rehearsals and a couple of table reads, they're called, in L.A. And afterwards, she would have driving lessons on the Ferrari because it was such an intense car. So yeah, and I also got to see the jeweler in the movie. Is also the jeweler that makes the World Championship rings for the Lakers when they win.
Oh, wow.
So the only scene I'm in that takes place in L.A. is in that jewelry shop. And actually there's a couple, but the first scene that I shot in the movie was in that jewelry shop, and it was in L.A. and I'm barely in it. So I got to spend a lot of time walking around the jewelry shop and looking at some of the most amazing pieces of jewelry I've ever seen, and I'm not really a jewelry guy. I don't have a lot of bling, but yeah, it was pretty fascinating. And also just seeing the designs for the Lakers rings was cool.
Cool. Yeah, one of my favorite scenes, the comedy moments, was when y'all were trying to drive out of the desert in the Ferrari, and the golf cart stops you. You don't see that very often, a golf cart stopping a Ferrari.
Yeah, I think that was meant to show the juxtaposition of sort of the lifestyle at the ranch by Eden Graham. Michael Tolan plays him. He's my dad. Or he's not my dad in real life.
Right.
He plays my dad in that. And yeah, the sort of simple life that we live on the ranch versus her Ferrari.
Cool.
The decadence that she comes from. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Now, I noticed on IMDb that you like to do comedic work. Have you done some of that in the past?
Yeah, I've been in some comedy stuff. I had a comedic role in a Lifetime movie that was out this last Christmas called All About Christmas Eve, and that was fun. That's most of my part was in that was being the comic relief, the sort of wacky sidekick to Haley Duff's character. I do a little bit of hosting, and I go on the road and do comedy from time to time. So yeah,
Cool.
I do a little bit of that, yeah.
Now I watched The Wild Stallion. Just finished watching that last night. You had to get some good comedy moments in that.
Yeah, that was actually the first movie I ever shot. Another location film. I don't know how much you know about that kind of stuff, but some movies are shot in LA and you go home every night, and some movies are shot in location and you kind of live as a family in the middle of. Well, both of those movies took place in the middle of nowhere. So Mojave for God's Country and forget the name of the town in Utah for Wild Stallion. But yeah, that was it was wacky. And the guy played my brother Casey Clyde. He works a ton, and we actually got along. And actually, he and Corbin Allred, who plays the villain in that movie, and I spent the most time together. Even though we're enemies in the movie, but we all hung out a lot. We went to the local Walmart and bought video games and played them in our off time. And so I think a lot of the chemistry you see on camera is just because we hung out a lot in our off time.
Yeah, I love the scenery in that movie. It's just so breathtaking.
They did a good job, yeah.
And with the horses running, just the whole landscape and the sky. The sky was beautiful. The way they've shot that and the color on that. So yeah, I love the. I think it was your character had a line where you said, "Did you stop to think and then forget to start again?"
Yeah, I tell you, I shot that movie so long ago. I don't remember half of my lines, but I appreciate the fact that you do. But yeah. That was I forget the actor that played the redhead. I forget his name, but
I recognize the fella behind you.
We like to mess with him. We spent a lot of time messing with him on the set.
I recognize the fella behind you there. Hello.
Oh, jeez. See you, man. I'm giving you an interview. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
He saw me.
Come on in, say hi. Come on in, say hi. For those who can't see that video, that was Mr. John Tesh.
That was. He popped in to mess with me.
Wow. And I've also noticed that you like to sing. Have you ever done any singing, performing?
How did you notice that I like to sing? I haven't since college really done anything organized.
Well,
but go ahead. Sorry.
It's on your resume on IMDb. I always look at these things and get ready for these interviews.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Yeah, maybe I should take that off. No, I used to sing in college, sang in choirs in high school and college. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to see different parts of the country and the world. And when I was a kid, we went to France with my choir. That was fun. And it's just one of those things I didn't stay with after school, after I didn't have the sort of structure around it. I don't really do anything kind of organized with it anymore. Occasionally I'll learn a new song and just for myself, but
yeah,
I haven't performed in a long time.
Okay. Just wondering.
I keep it on my resume just so that nobody says, nobody doesn't take me into an audition because they don't know if I can sing or not.
That's right. Better be practicing, just in case.
Well, I'm terrified. I don't know if you ever watched Friends, but the Joey Tribbiani character, played by Matt LeBlanc, is an actor, and he has to go from place to place. Like he has to go on auditions, and he keeps his resume up to date, and he's always looking for parts in the movie. And his agent tells him to put all of these things on his resume, these skills that they'll never ask him to do, but it's a nice icebreaker, or it gets him in the door. And one of the skills he says that he's like this really advanced dancer, and he has to go into this audition, and they just assume that he's a great dancer, and then he has to teach everybody else in the place the dance, and he obviously can't. And hilarity ensues. So anyway, that's a big long aside, but that's a little true to form as far as what we have to go through as actors.
Yeah. Now you mentioned a few minutes ago you've done some Christmas music recently. Tell us a little bit more about those.
The last one, well, I did two last fall. One already aired last Christmas, All About Christmas Eve. Haley Duff. That was a good time. All right, aired on Lifetime. Then I did another one I have a smaller part in called A Little Christmas Business, and that's with Daniel Baldwin. Mm-hmm. And that is hopefully I don't think you guys are related, are you?
No.
Okay, I just thought I'd check. Hopefully that'll come out in this next Christmas.
Okay, cool. I'll be looking for it.
Yeah, and the first one I that already aired, I really liked that part. It was a fun. I got to play a sort of sidekick with a little bit of comic relief, and in this one I play a sort of mystical DJ that is Daniel's spirit guide as he goes through sort of a life-altering experience.
Cool.
That's fun.
Well, Christmas will be here before we know it, so
I know, right? Yeah.
The way things are, the way time is rolling on by.
And the way we do it around here is you'll shoot Christmas movies a lot of the time in the summer because it has to go through post-production and get sold and all that in order to make it out in time for Christmas. So, like with Christmas Eve, there's this scene where we're in an airplane, and we did that in the valley in the middle of either July or August. And you can't run an air conditioner when you're shooting because it makes a lot of noise and you hear it on the mic and yada, yada, yada. So it was the middle of July, the middle of August in the valley in Los Angeles, which is about 110 degrees. And we're dressed up like we're in New York in December getting on an airplane.
Wow.
It was cooking. Between every take, they had these giant fans that they would wheel in and sort of blow through. It's a fake fuselage for an airplane, and they would just shoot the fans in there for us and the extras. It was hot.
Now, what types of roles do you seek? Are there any particular type of roles you like to play or look for?
Yeah, I really do like the whole gamut. I do like the comedy quite a bit. It's more fun at times, and you can always tell if something hits or not. It's hard to tell sometimes how drama is going to play out. Is it going to be over the top or melodrama, or is it going to be understated and just not fit? But you can kind of tell if comedy is working, sort of the timing on the set.
Right.
So that helps.
Cool.
And also, it's a way to distinguish yourself because
a
lot of people go in for some of these roles, and if you can be the funniest one, it helps. But I kind of go up for whatever fits my age range and I feel comfortable doing.
Are there any other projects that you haven't mentioned yet that you're working on or currently working on?
Yeah, as you saw earlier when John Tesh interrupted our interview. I don't interrupt his interviews, by the way. Okay. We are working on a television program right now that I am going to co-host with him. It's called Intelligence for Your Life Television. We should be airing in June. We're rolling out slowly. I think we're going to start in 10 markets. So I do the sort of wacky, younger skewing segments on that show.
Neat.
Yeah, so look for that. Check your local listings when that starts to come out.
Now, what's the whole premise of the show?
It's kind of a lifestyle magazine show. So we'll take the latest research in how to live your life better. Everything from ways to lose weight to information about how to save your relationship, to the best way to get deals on a new car or best time to buy a used car. Everything that you need to live your life a whole lot better. Everything you need to make you the smartest person in the room.
Oh,
so that's kind of our MO, and I take the pieces that are a little weirder.
Neat. Well, I'm looking forward.
And we don't want to waste John's pre-existing brand on. Put it that way.
That's right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I hope it does well.
Yeah, I don't know if we're rolling out in Roanoke just yet, but when we do, I'll let you know.
Okay. Now, I understand that you have a bachelor's in mathematics. Now, how did you transition from that into acting?
You really do your research. That's unbelievable. Yeah. So when I went to college, I had no desire to work in film at all. And I did the kind of math everybody asked when I was majoring in math. They said, what are you going to do? You're going to teach? Or are you going to go work in Vegas and help them figure out, better table games or whatever? And I used to say that, no, I'm actually not that kind of math major. So I did the kind of research mathematics, so the kind of stuff that they show in the movies when the guy's just sitting there with the blackboard and you're coming up with proofs and stuff. And my view on that was just when you do your undergrad, you're kind of learning how to think about things and how to approach problems. And math is sort of the simplest, most direct path to just pure logical reasoning. So that was kind of that was why I was interested in it and drawn to it. And then when I left school, sort of, okay, now what? I thought about things that I like to do, and my favorite thing to do was always to make stupid movies on the weekends with my friends. Just take the camcorder out and do that. And I had done a few plays in college and had a great time doing it. My family was in the business, and I said, if I could do anything and not get paid, then I would probably do that, work on movies. So I might as well try and get them to pay me to do it. And that's kind of been what I've done ever since.
Wow. Cool.
I know it's a silly transition. There's no like great story. It's not like I was walking by and Al Pacino said, "Hey, you should be in picture." Nothing like that. I just took stock of my life, and this is a really, really fun way to make a living. And it's I can't imagine doing anything else. So
yeah, neat. Now this is probably a loaded question since you have acting in your family, but who were some of your influences in film or some of your favorite actors?
I love what the Coen brothers do. Their films are, you have to watch them a few times before you really get everything that's going on with them and all the things that they're trying to say. And as long as a film has a real point of view, I usually like it. It's very hard for me to walk out of a movie or to not find something to like about it. I've seen a couple that I don't like, but it's really hard. I really enjoy any movie that has something that is trying to say, even if it says it badly or even if I don't agree with what it's saying. I can appreciate the fact that as content creators, they have a point of view and they are expressing it. So that's a lot of people, but I mean, I do like the Coen brothers. I like Wes Anderson movies, those kind of weird movies like Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums. Those are all Wes Anderson films.
Neat.
So I like his work. And then as far as actors go, I think to me one of the performances that stands out the most is a young Brando. If you see Wild One, I think it's called. Let me look it up. Hold on.
Okay.
But when you watch Streetcar Named Desire or On the Waterfront, you get a sense of just what an amazing presence he had on screen. Wild One, yeah, I was right the first time. Okay, so I don't sound like an idiot. When you watch him in the Wild One, you see a guy who had a very real way of acting put up against a very stylized 1950s style of acting. And when you watch that movie, you really get a sense of just sort of the paradigm shift that was occurring in film and how far in front he was. Why Tennessee Williams liked him so much, and because he brought a realness to that role that everybody else is talking like, hey, why do you do this? They have the big boisterous 1950s actor voices, and he's got this sort of subdued real quality to him, that cinema verite style, and then that's something that really stands out.
Cool.
Historically. And obviously, I love the Hitchcock movies and Cary Grant, and I don't think there's anything better than Stewart and Kelly in Rear Window. That's one of the best on-screen relationships I've ever seen.
Well, I like him. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life was great, and I just recently watched him in the Glenn Miller Story, which was really awesome. You mentioned Hitchcock. I guess, are you a fan of the Twilight Zone series?
Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, X-Files, all the new J.J. Abrams stuff. Yeah, I like it all. Yeah, I'll
try to watch Twilight Zone when I can catch it here. It's really, it had a nice twist on a lot of different things. So
it's good early sci-fi.
Yeah. Another good movie. Have you ever seen The Final Countdown?
No.
With it's Kirk Douglas and I can't think of the other guys in it. It's a sci-fi movie where it's made in 1979. The USS Nimitz gets transported back to the day before Pearl Harbor gets attacked. They go through a time warp.
Wow.
And they have to decide whether they're going to intercept the Japanese as they're coming into Pearl Harbor and change history. And of course, I won't give you give it away, but it's a very good movie. Raises a lot of questions, and so if you ever see that or go online and look at The Final Countdown, it's one of my all-time favorites.
Well, the cool thing, that's sort of a great overly dramatic backdrop for a basic philosophical question. If you change history, to get rid of certain things that have happened, would you make things worse or better?
Yeah.
And it's a tough question to answer, and I'd love to see that film. I would assume that's what I'm talking about when I say there's a movie with a point of view.
Yeah, definitely. And Back to the Future had a little bit of that in it, but it was more comedy. But they went back, changed history, and actually ended up making it worse. So,
yeah, for a little bit, and then he gets it in.
Yeah.
1.21 gigawatts.
That's right. I love the character of Biff. That's one of my all-time favorite movie characters.
Have you ever seen him do his question? He's a stand-up now.
Yeah.
The actor that plays him, and he's got this great. You should look it up. There's a video online of him about all the questions that he gets asked.
Oh yeah,
people recognize him.
Yeah.
It's like, what's Michael J. Fox like? He's nice. And then just all these questions about movies that he gets asked all the time. It's really funny. It's worth seeing.
Now, do you have a web page or Facebook page that you can tell the audience about?
Yeah, well, you can follow me on Twitter. It's just at Gib Gerard, GIBGERARD, or my website, gibgerard.com. Both work.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
On a beach somewhere with all of the money that I've embezzled from my Facebook stock. No, I would love to be in a position where I get to make only the movies that I want to make. That would be great. That I get to pick and choose my projects and get there's a certain level of status in this business where when you attach yourself to a project, the financing and the distribution comes in. Mm-hmm. It's not really about fame per se. It's just a question of marketability, I guess, is the best way to put it. But more than anything, for me, that would mean being able to say, okay, this script I really like. This says something that I really agree with. This, I got lucky with God's Country that I really liked the movie to begin with, and it wasn't a hard movie to say yes to. But I haven't been so lucky with some other movies and doing some horror films here and there, which have been fun, and I was thankful for the work, and I'm not saying anything about that, but I would love to just be able to choose the movies that I really want to do, and if in 5 years I could be doing that, that would be fantastic.
Cool. Is there any, well, I might have already asked this sort of, is there any one role you would like to play, type of character?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound sort of 180 from what I just said, but I want to play, like, I'd love to be the villain in something. I'd love to be like a serial killer or a villain, and because the idea of exploring sort of what makes those characters human and inhuman at the same time is appealing. But it has to be the right one. I don't want to just do a slasher horror. I'd like to be something that's a little more psycho. Something like what Anthony Hopkins does with Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, okay.
Where you just never for a second do you not think that he is both as sophisticated a human being as there ever lived, and at the same time the most depraved individual on the planet. And that duality is fascinating to me. So something like that I like as well.
Yeah, I would think playing an evil character would be a lot of fun because you wouldn't have any boundaries. You could pretty much do whatever you want with the character.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you can even get away with wearing a monocle.
That's right. Well, Gib, I just thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts with us about God's Country and discussing your career. It's just been fun, and I wish you the best in the future.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks so much for having me too. And I appreciate the fact that you've not only that you just watched God's Country, but the fact that you're talking about it is even better. So thank you.
Well, thank you.